Hello, my eyes. Evening. Good morning. Early morning where I am. And evening where I am. It's now. After 1 o'clock, still up. And I'm reviewing Spider-Man from 2007. I give it an 8 out of 10. It's the only one standing in the original OG Spider-Man saga that I absolutely 100% load before Spider-Man 3. Now I only loaded 95%. The franchise. Spider-Man 3 made me like it that much. As an 8 out of 10, I enjoyed it. It has its problems here and there, but it's a good popcorn movie. True, I don't sympathize nor relate nor care for this version of Spider-Man from Sam Raimi, played by Maguire. That's still a problem. He's still not relatable or likable or funny or compelling as Spider-Man or as Peter Parker. Or smart, even. Yet he's the head of his, and yet he's tutoring Gwen Stacy in this content, who is eye candy and been reduced to girl sexy, who's been reduced from Peter's love interest from the comics, 616 on First Love, to just some hot face. Eye candy. What's wrong with that? Nothing. Unless you're a fan of Gwen Stacy from the comics, or a fan of Spider-Man from the comics, but that's okay. This wasn't meant for the comic fan. It was meant for new media. The moviegoers. And it's great popcorn, goofy popcorn, gummy fun. Bubblegum fun. This movie is. Bubblegum fun. Like bubblegum music. You know that song, Grows, and Where My Rosemary Grows? What the hell is that song name go? Anyway, I found this out by this, I find this song by this, my favorite YouTuber I ever watch is called Todd in the Shadows. He reviews movies, one-hit wonders, and does his top worst songs of all time he thinks of. Just on that, and I like him. He's my favorite YouTube critic that I watch when I'm making my YouTube videos that I like to watch. The name of his channel is called Todd in the Shadows. Check him out. He's really talented. Good. Critic. The point is, he reviewed this song called Love Grows Where My Rosemary Goes, a one-hit wonder song. And he's explaining his philosophy about bubblegum. Well, that's kind of my philosophy about Spider-Man 3. It's bubblegum movie. Like bubblegum music. It's annoying trash. Obnoxious trash like Katy Perry's music. When she sounds the best when the auto-tune's tuning her awful rancid-ass voice out. Her natural voice. Without auto-tunes. Sounds like you're screaming on a toilet. Pain is what she sounds like because of the runs that we can get from our assholes. Is what she's singing voice sounds like with Katy Perry without the auto-tune. The auto-tune makes her sound like an angel. God bless auto-tune. If nobody would ever listen to Katy Perry's voice if it wasn't for the magic beauty that we invented, known as auto-tune. That's also bubblegum, also known as popular music. Bubblegum, tomato, blah, blah, blah. That's how I see it. The point is, Spider-Man 3 might not be any masterpiece or well-written or well-directed, but visually stunning nonetheless. Beautifully stunning. I get this was one of the most expensive movies for its time and made its money back. Isn't that great? And made a profit. The worst thing that this movie made was this cheap merchandising toys that I got my hands on thanks to my dad, and the toys were shitly made. They kept falling apart once you opened up the box. Especially if you want the toy with the black suit of Spider-Man. It was really hard to find a toy that wasn't busted. Or, you know, after opening up the toy box. Because that's solely normal. A toy just starts to fall apart after opening up the toy box. Because the arms are barely hanging to the toy. 100% hanging into the socket, it looks like. And there was lots of toys like that. Was the Spider-Man 3 toys, merchandising from Toys R Us. Probably one of the reasons how Toys R Us went out of business, because they kept on getting shitty toys that were broken. And I remember Dad had tried to get a receipt, but couldn't get a receipt because the toys were already open. So I was just like, that was like that 2001 was one of the last times Dad took me to Toys R Us as a kid. Under that circumstance, because, you know, I just remembered something when I stopped going to Toys R Us as a kid. Because Spider-Man 3 toys, these sucked. And were often defected and broken once you open them up. They were barely often not hanging well together. And I was worried, was it just me being a stupid, careless kid? And then Dad looked at the internet and, then Dad, got more toys for me. And more toys. We just found out they were cheaply made by Toys R Us that Toys R Us got. Toys R Us got shitty toys for Spider-Man 3 that weren't built ideally together. You know, in terms of using the joints. The joints that you're supposed to play with. Isn't that funny? That's how I got fatigued from Toys R Us due to the Spider-Man 3 toys. Easy, you know? That was the last time I got really crazy for Toys R Us. Then I took a year off of Toys R Us. Looking for toys, and then Dark Knight came out, and Iron Man came out, and I wanted the Batman toys over there more than the Iron Man toys, because Batman was a better movie than Iron Man, I thought. The 2008 Batman vs. Iron Man movie won. So I wanted the toys while they were still hot, because some of them look cool. And, yeah, I stopped getting toys after 2008 and from Toys R Us. I got the Batman toys from Toys R Us, and yeah. And that was around, and I forget what started this. Spider-Man 3. The point is, Spider-Man 3 is not a bad movie or bad execution like the shitty toys were based around this movie. What I liked about Spider-Man 3 is the CGI and the effects, the visuals, everything visually stunning about the movie. Even though the story was never really good for these movies, let's be honest, the story was always the shitty stories they are with Spider-Man 3 standards. I mean, the story is just as stupid and as bloated as ever, with too many characters and plot threads going on. Just like the first two ones. But not as, but more knows, but for some reason people never got over it. This never like dawned on them that the first two Spider-Man movies were just had the same problems as Spider-Man 3. But Spider-Man 3 just kept me awake. Well, the only difference is the first two Spider-Man movies were so boring. It's like watching a snail race. A real snail race. You know what snails move, Hal? Slow. That's what Spider-Man 2 and 1 have. The 2002 flick. And 2004 sequel have. That's don't have in common with Spider-Man 3. They're boring. That's why I think people hate Spider-Man 3. Because it's fun. And keeps me awake. And it's not boring like the first two ones were. Snorefest. Just like The Last Airbender from 2010 as was a Snorefest. It was as much as a Snorefest as 2010's Last Airbender reboot failed reimagining by M. Night Shyamalan is how boring the first two Spider-Man movies were. And why they're nothing as good as Spider-Man 3 standards. And is as best as the bars can get for the Raimi franchise. Isn't that great, everyone? Spider-Man made the worst comic book movie franchise saga I've ever seen in my life, and he only had one good ending that I ended up liking. Even though it's too much has done damage to the brand now from the first two installments, I like this movie as an 8 out of 10, and that's why I cannot sympathize or like or relate to the character Peter Parker, also known as Spider-Man or Harry Osborn. In fact, I always thought these characters were one-dimensional, flat, unrelatable, comedic fashion characters that were funny sitcom fashion. Like, the characters had more depth and more personality and relatability from the characters from what's that show I'm thinking of? Not Brady Bunch, no, Happy Days. Characters had more depth than the Spider-Man cast from Raimiverse. Even all of them. The one I like even. Good morning, good night, my audience. I hope you enjoyed this review on Spider-Man 3 2007. That's why I give it 8 out of 10. I approve this good, goofy, guilty pleasure movie like I approve the 1986 Transformers movie as a good, goofy, poorly written, stunning visuals, good, guilty pleasure ride. Beyond my wild imagination. And it is a wild mind. But I don't think I have good imagination, actually, anymore. Due to all the crap I have watched over the years with Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 2 and more than that. Crap. Then it's the stuff I listed off in this video. I could list all of it off, but that would take the video way too long than 20 minutes. It would take. Longer than 20 minutes. And I don't want to keep you that waiting long till I finish the video. And I'm drinking my drink. Oh. So that's my review on Spider-Man 3 2007. And why I give it 8 out of 10. Good morning, goodbye. My audience, love ya for finishing this video. I appreciate you guys for watching this video all the way through from beginning to end and sticking with me all those years. For 7 years I've been doing this, and those who watched me since the beginning, if I have any of those viewers left, thank you for sticking through me all these years. 7 years of doing the show. And I have 4 shows now, my audience, so under my name, where I review other stuff under those 3 other shows I have other than this one. 4 shows total I have under my name, created, so I can review more different things, topics, several different things that I want to do. other than movies and shows, and so I didn't want to confuse my audience. So I made other channels where I'll review like video games, and another channel where I'll review music, and another channel where I'll review audiobooks, like audio comics, even. And that will, those 3 topics I mentioned are under separate topics that I review under each channel of the last 3 new channels I made this year. And if you want to check them out, then feel free to check them out under whenever, if you find them. I'm going wait 5 days now from now, that Saturday, or when 5 days is up, when I can change my channel's name or tweak the channel's name to what I want them to be. Main channels for all 4 channels. So I just gotta fix the edit. I want to make and I'm just making this channel more a shorter name than but it's going to have my name in it. This is going to be a little shorter title, main title, and the other video is going to have my legal name and also that little thing next to my name was in the title of my screen. As I explained to you, my audience, what I'm going to do is all 4 channels. Give them names. Main names. I just had to. I had to wait 5 days to do all of them. Till then, I'm just going to have to tell my OCD don't bother focusing on it. I'm trying to change the channel. Just remember, you're going to do it when you're going to do it. Okay, so that's my review on Spider-Man 3. Goodbye. Like this video. Subscribe. My audience, please, to grow my subscribers, support my channel, like this video, and subscribe to my content. And feel free to comment below. You don't have to. That doesn't help me as much as subscribing or even liking the video to support me. So, good morning, my audience. I hope you enjoyed the Spider-Man 3 review. Bye.